Hi, hello. Now we are talking a little bit about integration. So first of all, I want to thank you to attend this presentation after the lunch. Maybe some of them we are tired. It's Friday. There was no coffee after the lunch, so I hope that you don't fall asleep with this presentation, and if you learn a little bit or you get some ideas, it will be super nice. First of all, I want to start introducing myself. I don't want to be in the middle of the screen. I'm Antonio Valladares. I'm integration consultant with 14 years of experience. I've been doing projects across, I would say, Europe, but also the world. I had the opportunity to work in many projects in Europe, but also in San Francisco and in Tokyo, where I was living. And some years ago, for colleagues, we started to open a company, very techy, that is called Code NIT. And basically, if you don't know us, we are focused in the technical area of SAP. But today, what we are going to focus is in the best practice of integration, not only all integration, we will focus on the cloud integration. So everybody's talking about S4HANA and so on, and I want to show first a legal disclaimer. So as I learned in the previous presentation from SAP, if I don't show this, I cannot lie to you. So let me just display this. So we have a SAP integration platform in the cloud, integration suite, and now we can say that it's a mature solution. So SAP has been saying that. I agree with that. I've seen, now it's more than 10 years old platform, and we see the beginnings. They were not as complete option as we do have today, and now we have a super nice integration suite with multiple features, but also the BTP platform itself has evolved a lot. But also SAP, when they say that we need to move to the cloud, say that the transition will be seamless. No, it's very nice word. I don't know if the expectations are that a person will come and plug the cables and the integration is done, or like when you buy an iPhone, you do a seamless transition between your previous iPhone and the new one. You just approach them and the data start to flow, and then you have the same application. So unfortunately here we don't share the same view, but let me explain why in the future. Part of the seamless transition that's the idea is based on the migration tool. So we do have SAP migration tool, we do have third-party migration tool. Okay, I think the migration tools are oriented for typical easy scenarios, point-to-point scenarios, simple scenarios, no complexity scenarios, and to do a lift and shift. And when you have to face a migration, maybe you can use the migration tool for some stuff, but not for all of them. But of course, this also requires learning. So we have opens up trainings that if I look back and I see how I need to learn integration in the past, it was with the printed version of Tebit 40, Tebit 41. I don't know if anyone here knows these horrible books. And that was the only tool that we had back in the days. Now we have Opens Hub, Learning Hub, some really nice trainings organized, community events like these ones, where we can talk, where we can share experience. So I really think that we are in a better position to do the transition to the cloud in terms of learning new things and improving. And this is very important because what we think about integration. So this is not just to have the check, we move to the cloud, okay? Or my license of PIPO is going to expire, I need to find another tool, I will move everything to integration suite. For me, this is not just to have the check. This is time to rethink your integration strategy. Do you want to continue doing the things as you were doing before? Let's continue using files. Let's continue using just integration point to point. In the moment that you have a new need, just do another integration. I think it's a super opportunity to start to do the things right and with modern technologies, like integration suite it is. For us, the migration tool is not an option. Why? Because if I'm going to say that we are going to use the migration tool to do the projects, we are going to have the same interfaces that we had in PIPO before. And lift and shift for me means quick and dirty. Okay? This, I'm not saying that this will apply for all the customers. Maybe you did super perfect scenarios, you have point-to-point integrations, no mapping conversions, and then you can do a lift and shift. But in most of the cases, it's good to rethink the strategy. Think that PIPO and before XI, they are really old platforms, and we don't want to move the garbage that we have in the 90s to the 2023, isn't it? So, yeah, let's think, and really, I will think that we cannot make disappear the files sometimes, but let's try to make improving this integration strategy. Okay, so now let's be a little bit technology agnostic, and let's think how integration looks like nowadays. So we have now more complex landscapes with distributed systems that they use on-prem to on-prem integrations, on-prem to private cloud, to public cloud. We have integrations with governmental agencies that they require different security levels that you can use maybe in an internal network. We have really a more complex landscape to integrate than what we have in the early 2000 or yeah, when PIPO was installed in your company. So, what is the philosophy? One of the philosophies, and it's not new, is API first. Okay? Why API first? Because all the distributed landscape that we have seen, it has multiple channels. We have different systems that require different transportation and messaging protocols. Of course, this will imply different monitoring tools. No? It's not the same. Error identification, it can be different. Latency, quality of service, security. This will require, to do a harmonization of the integrations. So API first is not just that you do an API, it's a philosophy. Okay, so the idea is to try to build and try to expose your service with this philosophy that is like adding Lego bricks, and you will build your landscape of integrations. But of course, this is not the only one. And this is, sorry, jump. So what SAP used to be fulfilling this API first philosophy? So API first has the API Hub. It's a super nice tool. It's very useful to publish your integrations in the API Hub to be able to consume by another third party. So security and the way of communication is harmonized across your integrations, and then you can publish either your APIs or your integrations, and also you can publish by SAP Graph the standard SAP integrations. So this is a really good way to publish via REST or data all your integrations. But this is not the only new philosophy that we need to apply to integrations. Event-driven architecture. This is super important. Okay, so from event-driven architectures, I will try to say a sentence that I really like it. No? So what is the benefit of event-driven architecture is that you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, without waiting for the other ones. So the philosophy is based on that sentence. We will have producers of information that they produce information into different topics, into an event broken, and the consumers can consume the information wherever they want. It's not that you need to wait until this system is available in order to send an asynchronous message. You will have an event broker that it should have high availability, of course, but then the producers and the consumers, they don't need to be available at the time. I had the luck to work in projects that they are really focused on event-driven architecture all across not only SAP applications, all across all the domain applications, and we do the go live during business hours. That's super, when you do a go live on Monday in the middle of the day without business impact. Yes, let's do a service pack upgrade. No problem. We have all the messages waiting in our Kafka queues, and then we do the service pack upgrade of PIPO or integration suite, whatever we need to do over there, and the business works as it was. Some delay in processing the message, but as either producer or consumer, we don't have any problem. So this philosophy needs to be applied for the integration of the following years. Just to go into a little bit more details, how event-driven architecture work. Okay, I don't know if you can see it very well, but let's start to following some flow of messages. So we have an event provider, a system that generates a message, and they are the owners of the topic. So topic can be used in Afro schemas a contract between the sender and the consumer. This is how we establish the rules of exchanging information. We say, we will send this information in that format. And this is what our schema brings to the table. And we have an event provider that sends the message to the event broker and is stored in the topic. Then we have multiple consumers, because the idea is not having just one single consumer, is that to publish a message and any application can subscribe to the topic and get the message. So we will have different queues for each consumer, and they will consume the topic whenever they are available. Okay? So this is a little bit the philosophy of this. The service consumer A can consume the topic immediately, but maybe this one is only available at night, and it will consume the message at night. Let's also, talk about another good architectural practice or another new way of doing integrations. That is a mix, combination, request-driven plus event-driven architecture. This is even, ideal scenario for some cases. We need to use the proper case in it. So here we combine event-driven architecture. So what we send is kind of webhook or a kind of signal that the event producer system will send some signal. We updated one article. Whenever you want, just come here and consume it. The article is the 555. So the service consumer is subscribed to this topic and knows, okay, the article was updated. I don't want to do it now because we have a lot of workload and so on. I will do it during the night, and I will consume this topic during the night, and I will get the updates of all the articles during the night time when nobody is accessing to the system. So during the night, consumes the topic, knows all the articles that they need to be updated, and then does a synchronous call to get this article information. So what is the benefit of this? Is that we have a super light message to send information to the service consumer regarding the information that it has been updated or it has been created. And then they can decide if they want to consume it or not, and when. Okay, so don't worry. We don't need to start doing these things and change all our integrations just immediately. Okay, so just I always put this slide, to rest a little bit, change and think. Okay, how we can do this with SAP? How we can do this thing? Because in my company this is impossible. We are still using files. How you will do an event-driven architecture with this file? Of course, not all the scenarios can be done like that. But the idea is that start to push the business, start to push the infrastructure in order to adapt to these technologies. And SAP has released a lot of new tools lately that allow us to do this kind of integrations. So, integration suite, we have API management to publish APIs with the philosophy of API first that we were talking before. We have even mesh, that is the way of doing event-driven architecture. We can have also, and not closing the gates to another technology, we can use Kafka, we can use third-party event mesh. But what we have in integration suite is like an empty canvas. Okay, so we have a super powerful tool that you need to shape it. You need to establish the architecture in order to be able to do these things. When you open a fresh integration suite and you go there to design an interface, you don't have nothing. You don't have what we things that we have in PI, like a retry mechanism, or error handling, or alerts. So we also need to go back as well to think in the principles that when we were studying, when we were studying in the university or whatever, they say, what is the most important principle of IT? Reusability. No, don't do the things twice. No, try to reuse it. So what we did is, this is all what SAP has, all the fantastic tools, but we try to give a little bit of shape to this. No? And we released one product that is an accelerator. And it's an accelerator not only for migration from PIPO, this is not, as I'm saying, we are not doing lift and shift. So this is an accelerator to the journey to the cloud. So basically what we did is create some tools, create some framework on how we want to do the interfaces, how we want to do, or not interfaces, or integration architecture. This has three pillars, okay? Integration patterns. It's really important that we describe some integration patterns and not everybody that comes to the system do the things how they like. Because then we have a potpourri of things, one wants to do the things like that, another one has to do the things like that. And also, having patterns is super important to establish mechanisms, like could be alerting, retrying, etc. So if you don't have patterns, you are not squeezing the possibilities of your integration. Alerting tools, this is not included. When we build an integration, we need to build or alert teams or error handling by yourself. And in some cases it's complex or different. No? And we know how the alerts were working in PIPO before. And then the other pillar is a toolkit. So as you can imagine, toolkit can be a lot of Groovy scripts and so on, but more than that, we have automatic functionalities to alert you when a certificate is going to expire. Because we always discover that a certificate is going to expire when we have the errors in production. We have tools to automatically load value mappings from Excels, to keep backup security copies in repositories, etc., etc., etc. So all the things that we've been learning doing more than 30 projects, we put it in common and we release this tool. So let's talk a little bit of patterns and why we think that this is one of the most important things. No? When a company decides to go to integration suite, they can say, okay, I need to do this integration. Send an IDOC and send it to a SOAP service. And the developer that was coming from the IPO decided, okay, IDOC adapter, I import here an XSD, I map it, and I configure the SOAP channel, send. Okay? No alerting, no retry mechanism. Okay, what we were doing in the IPO, we move it to the cloud. That's not ideal. Okay? Let's start. This is our integration pattern for asynchronous communications. And you say, okay, for asynchronous communication, what we were doing like that, you are doing this. Why? Why? There are some reasons. So cloud philosophy is that all the messages are synchronous. Okay? So when we have an IDOC, for example, that in our mind is an asynchronous message, now it's using a synchronous protocol. So we have seen in some customers that they have really big load of IDOCs and big load of data, that when we send an IDOC and we do heavy processing integration suite, the connectivity is not closed because it's synchronous. It's waiting for a response. So we decide to create a decoupling type. This decoupling type is not longer nothing else than receiving a message in a synchronous way, put it in a GMS queue that is asynchronous, and closing the connectivity. We release the sender system for useless workload to trigger the message. If we don't do this decoupling and we do a standard integration, we will have the sender system waiting until all the process is finished. Then we implement a routing tier. The idea of the routing tier is basically one of the nicest functionalities of PIPO. In PIPO, we go there in the icon, we say, okay, the receiver is this one. We set some rules. And now the operations are this one. We set some operations. We don't have this in integration suite. So we implement this routing tier to address the application tier. So this is a asynchronous communication that is communicated with asynchronous, starting with S. Asynchronous to synchronous. Okay? With that, what we do is we decide which mapping will process or will transform the message and apply this. So when we need to go to develop an integration, we only build an application tier. We don't need to build all this. This is all done in Code 10, the CI accelerator. We only go and build the application flow. We check if the routing tier that it's automatically deployed fits the needs. We can add small adjustment if it's needed, some condition, and then everything is done. As well, the dispatching. Again, to cover the same functionality, we need to send the IDOC synchronously, sorry. So we place a GMS and we trigger the message to the other system. This is not only happening with IDOCs. All the messages in the cloud, except JMS, are synchronous, okay, in deep programming. So we have more patterns for more cases. I'm not going to show you all because we can be here till tomorrow, but we have more patterns for more protocols, for complex synchronous communications, for even mesh, etc. Then what else? Alerting tools. Okay. I think who was doing PIPO in the past in this room? Some people, no? The alerting tool, it was a sad email, isn't it? No? Like text, maybe a link. Nobody was even changing the standard. Few people. I did a couple of times for some customers, but just to play around. That's not the way of sending alerts nowadays. Okay, this is old times. What we believe that we need to do nowadays when we have errors in our systems. First, enabling a retry mechanism that we don't have, but our integration pattern was allowing to do that. Okay. And second, if we have an error, we need to notify to ITL tools. Now everything needs to be tracked. We need to create either a Jira ticket, ServiceNow, CSA, whatever tool are you using. We have a lot of them compatible out-of-the-box integration with our Kubernetes accelerator. But this is also how we need to do the things. Maybe 10 years ago, Bank PI was not doing it, was sending emails. But now we need to be more proactive. People receive an email and it goes automatically to the spam folder because it's automatic from ServiceNow. No, we believe that we need to also integrate with messaging tools. So we have out-of-the-box integration with Teams, Slack, and WhatsApp. Okay, don't worry. WhatsApp is only working for business accounts, not for personal use. Don't worry, you will not get alerts in the Saturday night via WhatsApp. But for the rest of the tools, it's super useful. Okay, so we have implemented automatic sending message for projects that we are doing, and even during the UAT phase, we are getting alerts in our Teams chat, and is improving the quality of service a lot. So let's not wait for these dirty emails that we have in the past. Also improve the tools. And if you don't have it, don't worry. We can continue sending emails. But we compose an email nicely with an HTML and more details and so on than what we have in PIP. And then the other pillar is the integration tools. It's a toolkit, okay? So here we have, as I was mentioned before, monitoring reporting. You can get an email with a reporting of all the day, how many messages were processed, etc. If we have an error and so on, some companies want it. Don't ask me, I don't want to see it. I want to see that we don't have errors. Value mapping tools. We have a set of integrations that's able to load value mappings and it's not longer, horrible to go there. And so on. I've been working in a project where we have 7-tier infrastructure, so 7 different environments, okay? So we have development, quality, production, plus some regression testing, and another layer for products with development, testing, and quality. 7-tier architecture. So if you need to load a value mapping in 7 integration suite, that's horrible. So this is automatic. You can transport value mapping between integration suites, or you can re-import from an Excel or whatever. We have multiple options. Notifications, out-of-the-box notification for the IDOC. So as we say before, IDOCs now are synchronous, surprisingly. We can send the Systat IDOC or whatever other mechanism to inform if we want to use this feature to debug and what is the status. We have a library with a lot of Groovy scripts that are making really easy and faster the developments. DMHQ's health checks, credentials, well, a lot of, that one, this one is very good. This is plan for disaster recovery, no? So we had one customer that say, okay, we have here everything in the cloud, you come here, you do these integrations, and how we do the backup of integration suite? And say, no, you don't do backup of anything of BTP, you need to rely on SAP. And they say, okay, but what we need to do to be sure that this will not fail? So we say, okay, let's think. We cannot do a backup of integration suite, but what we can do is a backup of the integrations, because honestly, the cloud will not disappear. Okay, SAP will not like, we lost the backup of your integration suite. You are sorry, you need to start. No, but somebody can accidentally press the deletion button. Okay, and you can miss a version. So we do integrations of the content of integration suite into SharePoint, S3 bucket of AWS, and GitHub. Again, the feature of the certificate expiration, that this is, I think, is a must nowadays. In our roadmap, we evolve these tools. Every 6 months we try to release something with what we are doing, learning some projects, improving, etc. So in our roadmap is that we need to have an integration dashboard, a better one. The monitoring of the actual integration suite, I don't know if you've been using them, but it's difficult. I mean, it's nice, you see, but when you need to look for something specific and when you want to search, it's not the same as what we have in PIPO. And also with our architecture, I have to say that it's not fitting very well. It's even more complex. You see, it's a list of methods. This is difficult to find. So we want to release an integration dashboard. We want to release a resource center, a place where we can share our knowledge, where you can have some resources and tips and tricks, and new features. Of course, from the projects we will discover some new functionalities that we want to enhance, and it's a live. The idea is that it's a live tool that it will improve. So what are the benefits of this? What we have seen when we are introducing this kind of accelerator in an integration suite, that at the end we do the interface faster because we have a lot of pieces built. It's just to put in the bricks, know how to put them, and do a simple mapping, and integration is done. And this also, time is money, and money is time. So reduce the cost for the project, so it's a good thing. And also, you reduce the time to start an integration suite journey. Normal projects, big projects, we've been even 6 months thinking in the architecture that we want to build in integration. How we will do this case? Let's do a proof of concept. Oh, it's not working as expected. How we can do this other thing? Do another proof of concept. Oh, it's not working. So, in order to save 6 months of architectural decisions and so on, within 2 weeks we deploy everything, and we are ready to go with this architecture. I don't know if anyone has any question. We have here Luis that is almost falling asleep. That is one of the fathers of the creature. But I hope that the message that I want to say mainly is that I don't mind if you use CodeNCI Accelerator or not, but when you move to the cloud, just think in an architecture. Don't just move the garbage that you have in PIPO to the cloud. Don't think that lift and shift is the best option at this moment. Maybe it's the cheapest one, maybe it's the fastest one, but somebody has to maintain the system for the following 20 years, okay? And you don't want that you will have your interfaces migrated instead of with the Java mapping that you have with a jar, and then you need to at some point maintain this and you will need to convert it to a Groovy. Do it now. Rethink your integration strategy. And yeah, if you have any questions, you have my email over there. Feel free to send me any email, or if you see me around, discuss whatever you think about the architecture.
5 minutes of questions.
I think I was more or less on time, no? I tried to put a watch here, but
No,
I didn't
it's
start.
fine.
About 30 minutes exactly. So.
Anyone? Any question?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So this is an add-on that you install in.
It's content. It's content. It's not like
Artifacts.
It's
Yeah.
artifacts. So you go and we deploy a lot of artifacts in
Okay.
this, and they are modifiable, some of them, and you have them in the system.
Does it work in S/4HANA as well, or just?
No, it's only it's only designed for integration suite.
Only for integration.
All the tools of integration suite,
okay.
EMS, API management, but only for integration suite. This
Even public and private.
there is only
Doesn't mean.
only integration suite. It doesn't mean this.
Okay.
So, whatever, if you have it in a hyperscaler or you have it in SAP, but only
It
for
will
integration.
work, it's connected through API or anything.
And it's inside your integration. So at the end is this is of course you can use it when you have already an installation of integration suite, but ideally is I need to start using this. How I start, and then you call us, we go there in 2 weeks, and we boost you to get some speed with your integrations.
How many times is the medium to implement the
2 weeks to deploy all the toolset, okay? But then,
And
of course, then the project starts, no? But and this includes a training, no? Because it's not that we go there and we deploy this, and then now you magically know how to do this. You have documentation, and it comes better with a training, no? We plan normally a training of 4 days where we explain all the possibilities of integration suite, and then how we connect all the possibilities of integration suite with our approach.
there are options no code, no code to configure the integration.
No, I mean this is at the end. You need to continue doing the integrations as you are doing, but what you have is a framework that saves you time, so saves you problems and saves you code at the end. But then the integration itself, the message transformation that you need to build it either way, okay? But it simplifies, and having the pattern or the idea of how you want to build this at the end save time. So
One is the example of the most common
So
customer.
I can give you an example. For example, if there was one project that we had to do a conversion from IDOC to flat file. It took us 1 month to do it. That's a Groovy script.
One more.
Yeah. So if we have to do it in
because
every
it's
project,
So basically, this is one of the Groovy scripts that we have, no? So in PIPO we had a functionality that it was converting an IDOC into flat file. I hope that really nobody using flat files as an IDOC here, okay? But some of the companies they still using this. So we decide, okay, what we are going to do. They have like 10, 20 IDOCs that they want to convert to flat file. Of course, we can call an RFC and do the conversion there, how all the rest of the companies are doing, but this is not our style, okay? Because we will do a call here, then we will do another call here, we will get the response, we will do a call there, and so on. And this is not what we propose. So what we decide is to implement a Groovy that you inform about the XSD of the structure of the IDOC, and automatically, no matter if it's an RMAS, MACMAS, CREMAS, DEVMAS, and so on, it converted to the proper flat structure. So this Groovy script took us a month with the testing and proper testing and go live, no? But it takes time, to build such a development. And now in this case, you need to do a flat structure conversion. 10 minutes you have it for any item.
Amazing. So let's contact Antonio for
If you need to convert items to flat files,
you will have a